Academic activities have been disrupted at the University of Cape Town. Students protesting over accommodation, financial exclusion and the National Student Financial Aid Scheme allowances. Learning has since been moved online. UCT's SRC Yanganani Sibeko joining us now to give us an update on the situation. Yanganani, good morning to you and thank you very much for your time. Just describe the situation for us at the campus, if indeed there are any students who are attending, because the understanding is that teaching has been moved to online.
Revolutionary greetings to everyone. Yes, I can in fact confirm that there is currently a UCT shutdown happening. Actually, there's a shutdown happening across campuses in the Western Cape, in UWC as well. Most of them caused by similar issues that we're all experiencing, issues relating to accommodation, issues relating to financial exclusions as well. Unfortunately, the system is deciding to resist the student movement and to continue to exclude black students, hence they've moved online. Currently, we have students that are attending classes online, which is exclusionary in its nature, because some students can't access those classes due to obviously data reasons, etc., as it goes on.
Yeah. Is there a way to resolve this, Yanganani, without disrupting classes, or you feel that this is the only way that management will listen to your cries?
So currently, I think it's definitely necessary, and thank you for the platform for us as the SRC to just clarify a few misconceptions that are being spread. I see there was an interview by the spokesperson of the statute on ENCA, which was completely a misrepresentation of events itself. Things can be done to solve the current academic or financial exclusion happening called fee blocks at UCT, right? That is through obviously a council meeting. The management is spreading, is misinformed, or rather spreading a narrative in terms of when they say that we've only started protesting on Sunday, or just the student body itself is irrational in terms of what's happening right now. So we've engaged with these individuals over the past 2 weeks before, obviously in preparation for the academic calendar itself. We've raised issues of fee blocks, we've been ignored. We've raised issues of accommodation. They assisted us to an extent in terms of accommodating few students, but that was within expectation as well, because those students were still waiting on appeal results. Some were still waiting on other things, but were going to be registered students in the statute itself as well.
Yeah.
Furthermore, just in terms of the engagements as well that we've been having, we have every year we continuously ask for a council meeting to be called just to resolve these issues. Student leadership, or the SRC, has even undertaken a program themselves to house students, to feed students. We sleep late at 4 a.m., even as students in our capacity, where we have to make means because students are being left out in the cold by executive currently as stands.
Talk to us a little bit more about what you say is exclusion or exclusion practices by the institution. What exactly are you referring to? Yes, we understand that there is a housing crisis. How is that being resolved?
So let me just tackle the academic or the financial exclusion itself first. So academic exclusion basically happens to students who have fee blocks or fee debt from the previous year. So the university has a policy where it does not allow you to re-register as a student towards the completion of your degree based off the fee debt that you have currently. Management must be honest in terms of we negotiated with them. Council was able to give us a 10,000 threshold last year already. However, that did not resolve the problems that were going to come this year in itself. And if you look at the margins or the amounts of black students that are currently being excluded, we can in fact say that it is a racial exclusion happening at UCT in terms of these fee blocks themselves. And management has capacity to overlook or to lift fee blocks through council, obviously, through calling an emergency council meeting, which is what students are requesting. We didn't want to wake up at 4 a.m. to protest, and for things didn't just escalate this way. It was because students' grievances are falling onto deaf ears. We're not being listened to in terms of calling that council meeting and seeing how we can lift fee blocks to allow each and every student to access their constitutional right, which is free or even education to obtain a higher degree certificate qualification.
What about NSFAS? Is there any help?
Yes. So NSFAS as well is currently giving us issues. A lot of our students, obviously, that are staying here in Cape Town cannot afford a private accommodation, which is actually contributing to the accommodation crisis that we have in terms of the current decrease. There's only 45,000 rands, apologies, allocated for students annually, and you must find accommodation with that money. Looking at where UCT is located, there is no form of accommodation that will be able to accommodate you between the threshold or the amount that you're given in terms of NSFAS. Furthermore, NSFAS is NSFAS allowances. We've raised this through multiple engagements with NSFAS through conferences where we told Blade there basically needs to be an increment in terms of the fees that are being paid for students. Student allowances haven't increased over the years, yet students are made to make means happen with those very same allowances. Students are constantly, being a black student and being on NSFAS, especially in an elitist university that is so exclusionary of black students itself, it's very difficult making day-to-day even itself, where you have to rely on food programs that exist that are run by the SRC even. You have to rely on on accommodation with the institution itself, where the institution sometimes does then subsidize or makes it much more affordable for NSFAS students to be accommodated in the area.
Final question to you. There were some suggestions that violence is possibly being used as a form of a protest. Is there any truth to that? And what will it take to end this particular protest?
Currently, all students are from UCT. I think even in the Western Cape across, all we are asking for is just for our cries to be heard, our pleas to be heard. The same way, it's very concerning and alarming actually that institutions up until now, even though we've went through fees must fall, they still haven't made adaptive measures. So all we're asking for is for students to be catered to, is for all students to be able to participate in the academic year, especially if those students are academically deserving, to be allowed to register towards completion of their degree. In terms of the violence being incited, no violence is being incited on the student perspective, and I think that even in protest natures, even if an incident does happen where it becomes violent, we plead with management to kindly allow us to further negotiations, so that all of this can be brought to a stop. I think the violence aspect is just thrown even in the way of the protests, just to delegitimize the work of the students. Most of the violence, I can confirm that no one got hurt here in terms of violence incited by us. We haven't been hurting anyone. We haven't been doing that. We're just peacefully protesting for the right to education currently this side.
Yanganani.
And we ask South Africans to join us as well and to stand in solidarity with us as well.
Yanganani, Sibeko, thank you very much for that update.